Now, a spate of femicides in the region this week has highlighted the high levels of violence against women in the Arab world and how such violence is viewed in society. A court in Egypt sentenced a man to death this week for the murder of the student Nayera Ashraf, who he killed after she rejected his advances. Shock about her death turned to outrage when a leading cleric implied Nayera was killed for not wearing the hijab, the headscarf. A similar killing happened days later in Jordan. And more recently, also in Egypt, a judge was arrested over his alleged involvement in the killing of his wife, 32-year-old TV anchor Shaima Jamal. Well, to talk more about that, I'm joined by Rabia Kazan. She's the president of the Middle Eastern Women's Coalition. She's an awards-winning women's rights activist and the author of Angels of Tehran, a book based on her interviews with more than 200 women about abuses against them under extreme forms of Islam. Thank you very much indeed for being with us.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me, Laura. And unfortunately, very sad day for us. One more beautiful girl, unfortunately, life taken by barbaric men. And this is not going to be last. This is not the first. It's just my condolences for Nayera family. But I am so, at least one thing has come good that, you are giving the voice for Nayera's death, because we have to stop. Otherwise, how many of us we have to die? How many of us we have to get raped before the world have to take in actions? I'm very sad today because I used to have a headscarf. When I take my headscarf off, I receive many death threats. I know by myself. Even I work United Nations, I had to change my names when I meet suspicious people like from Middle East. I know what does that mean. And I feel very, very sad today because this is not ending. This is not going to end. Only 2,000.
Well, yes. Right. I wanted to ask you because Egyptians were really shocked by the murder of Nayera Ashraf, and then a leading cleric went onto social media and he basically said, well, she should have been wearing a headscarf. However, there was a huge outpouring of disgust and outrage on social media, and that forced him to backtrack and apologise. Do you think that is a small sign that attitudes are changing?
Actually, it's a small. I don't know how can I tell you the truth, but it is like I changed my look. I decided to take my veil off when I was 7 years old, first by my mother, and right now I know the cleric and the old mullahs were they gonna be on side of the murderer. This is brutal truth, unfortunately. A little bit changing right now with social media, and the TVs and news stations like you are sensitive, but it's just like it's going to be forget by a couple days later after that. Nothing is going to change until we have to take an action and real condemn this. There is the issue. Women are suffering. Women are not free. We are not decide what we wear. We are not decide what our husbands. I lived in Iran. I interviewed 200 women. And then I've been fighting against child marriages, genital mutilations, and honor killings. Only honor killings, the 2020, that United Nations statistics, 47,000. This is only reported thing, numbers. Numbers are already changed. But what we have to do is, it's not you actually. You are free women right now, but I am actually expecting in Pakistan TV to interview. And but because of mostly the honor killing happening in Pakistan. And this is not honor killing. This is what we don't know. It's about this headscarf, about she being rejected. But there is a culture. There is the Islamic culture, unfortunately, because I am the one that I'm telling you my story. I was using headscarf since 7 years old, and until 10 years ago, I decided to take my scarf off, and I received many death threats. And there is a little bit of hope, but there's not going to end.